Manipur, a state nestled in the heart of India's northeast, is grappling with a long-standing and deeply rooted insurgency. This conflict has claimed countless lives and hampered the region's progress. The reasons for this insurgency are complex and multifaceted, stemming from historical grievances, ethnic tensions, and a lack of economic opportunities. The Indian government has been striving to bring peace to the region. However, the persistent violence and instability demand decisive action. This is where the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, or AFSPA, comes into play. AFSPA is a crucial tool for counter-terrorism efforts in regions grappling with insurgency. It grants special powers to the armed forces to maintain public order in disturbed areas. These powers include the authority to search, arrest, and use force, if necessary, to prevent violence and maintain peace. The act has been a subject of debate for many years, with some criticizing it for alleged human rights violations. While it's crucial to ensure that security forces operate within the bounds of law, it's equally important to recognize the extraordinary challenges they face in combating well-armed and ruthless insurgent groups. In the context of Manipur, AFSPA has been an essential instrument in containing the violence and protecting innocent lives. The act's detractors often fail to acknowledge the ground realities and the imminent threat posed by insurgent groups operating within the state.
Manipur is plagued by the presence of several Meitei militant groups, including the United Liberation Front of ASOM, or ULFA, the Kangleipak Communist Party, or KCP, and the Kanglei Yawol Liberation Front, or KYKL. These groups, driven by separatist ideologies and a desire for an independent homeland, have unleashed a reign of terror upon the state. They engage in extortion, kidnapping and targeted killings, creating an atmosphere of fear and insecurity. Their actions not only disrupt daily life, but also hinder economic development and discourage investment in the region. The Meitei groups are not merely fighting for a separate state, they are engaged in a campaign to ethnically cleanse Manipur of non-Meitei communities. Their targets include innocent civilians, government officials, and security personnel. These groups operate with impunity, striking at will and melting back into the dense jungles that cover much of the state.
Non-Meitei communities in Manipur live in a constant state of fear and vulnerability. They are often targeted by Meitei militant groups, who view them as outsiders and a threat to their vision of an independent Meitei homeland. These groups have carried out numerous attacks on non-Meitei villages, killing and displacing countless innocent people. The violence has created a climate of fear and mistrust, forcing many non-Meiteis to flee their homes and seek refuge in safer areas. The situation is particularly dire for those living in remote villages, where security forces are often stretched thin and unable to provide adequate protection.
The audacity of these militant groups knows no bounds. They have carried out numerous attacks on security forces, often targeting isolated outposts and patrols. These attacks are not merely acts of defiance. They are well-planned and coordinated operations aimed at inflicting maximum casualties and demoralizing the security forces. Furthermore, these groups are involved in the large-scale looting of arms and ammunition from security installations. In one brazen incident, militants overran a police station, escaping with a significant cache of weapons and ammunition. This stolen arsenal enhances their firepower and enables them to carry out even more daring attacks.
Obstructing justice, the threat to national investigations. The activities of Meitei militant groups extend beyond violence and terror. They actively obstruct justice and impede national investigations. Witnesses are often too terrified to come forward, fearing reprisals from these groups. This climate of fear makes it incredibly difficult for investigators to gather evidence, build cases, and bring the perpetrators to justice. Moreover, these groups threaten and intimidate journalists and human rights activists who dare to expose their crimes. This creates a culture of silence and impunity, allowing these groups to operate with little fear of accountability.
the imperative need for AFSPA, a tool for peace and security. Given the grave security situation in Manipur, the need for AFSPA cannot be overstated. The Act provides the necessary legal framework for the armed forces to operate effectively in a challenging environment. It empowers them to conduct search and arrest operations, establish checkpoints, and use force, if necessary, to maintain public order. These powers are essential to deterring militant activities, protecting civilians, and restoring peace to the region. While AFSPA should not be seen as a permanent solution, it remains an indispensable tool in the fight against insurgency in Manipur. The Act's detractors must recognize the ground realities and the imminent threat posed by militant groups. It is easy to criticize from the comfort of air-conditioned offices, but the situation on the ground demands a different approach.
Beyond AFSPA addressing the root causes. While AFSPA is essential for maintaining security in the short term, it is crucial to acknowledge that it is not a permanent solution. The long-term stability of Manipur requires addressing the root causes of the insurgency. This involves a multi-pronged approach that includes promoting economic development, creating job opportunities, and improving living standards to provide an alternative to joining militant groups. Addressing ethnic tensions and facilitating dialogue with communities to bridge divides and foster peaceful coexistence. Strengthening governance to ensure good governance, transparency, and accountability to address grievances with government. Investing in education and healthcare to provide quality education will empower the people of
A call to action. Safeguarding Manipur's future. The situation in Manipur demands our urgent attention. We cannot stand idly by while innocent lives are lost, communities are torn apart, and the future of a state hangs in the balance. We must urge the government to continue its efforts to neutralize militant groups and restore peace to the region. Ensure that security forces operate within the bounds of law while carrying out their duties. Address the root causes of the insurgency through a comprehensive and inclusive approach. Support the people of Manipur in their quest for peace, justice, and prosperity. The time for complacency is over. The future of Manipur depends on our collective will to act.